Do, do, do. Oh, yeah.
Ready to go live. Hello, everybody. It's a dinosaur. His name's Rex and blah, 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 bloop. Do, 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 do. Yeah! This episode is sponsored by Quack Alert. They are ridiculously in love with ducks. I have no clue why, but you know what? It's cool. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that hat. Every time you bring it up, it's so good. It's so good.
You said do something silly, and I'm pretty sure this is what I'm supposed to do when somebody says.
Oh, I love it. And of course, we've got Sass in here. I love Sass. Oh, and Panda Angel, Amanda Panda, just beautiful, beautiful person. And
she's
of course,
so lovely. Sass and Amanda. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, Sass was on with us this past weekend, and so was Amanda Panda, and we just had a blast playing just different games like Love Letter, and then we played Hues and Cues, and then Amanda Panda joined us for Hero Realms, The Lost Village. Yeah. But yeah, it was good. It was neat because you got to see the artwork, and you got to see Mandy's in the game and Jeremy Howard's in the game. And so it's beautifully done. But enough about that. But I do love all these wonderful people that are jumping in here. Hornist is in here. I feel like let's just get the whole Among Us crew in here.
I mean, right? Yeah, let's get all of the sus people.
Get Coda in here, and Meeple, Conrad, Rock. Just tell them all to jump in here. We'll say hi.
For sure.
Hey, hello, folks. It's Chris from the Charity Board Gamer. I'm excited because I've just slowly been developing a friendship with this amazing person that's beside me. And it's been nice. It's just been nice. I think our first interactions was really in Discord. I'm pretty sure that's it. And surprising enough, 2020 has been not the greatest year. However, the things that I have noticed is that it is awesome to just be able to interact and hang out with people in Discord, talking to them, seeing them, and just having good conversations. And the person that I have on tonight is exactly that, and that is Crystal Dax. Crystal, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And yeah, I've mentioned this in other places, but obviously the pandemic is horrible for so many reasons, but I do appreciate the good things that it has brought to my life as well. And that for the most part is I've strengthened a lot of the relationships with people I already knew online, and I've forged new friendships with other people in the online communities that I'm a part of, especially the board game community. And I'm grateful for the friendships that have really blossomed because, that's been my support network. I'm here pretty much by myself all the time, but when I'm on my computer, I feel like I've got friends around me constantly.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Let's hear. You have a package. I think Alexa is trying to tell you. Crystal.
Sorry, my Alexa. I already got it off the porch, but I didn't clear the Alexa notification.
That's pretty cool. I like that. I didn't know that it can do that. I don't have Alexa. It's more like I have. Hey kids, can somebody check the front door real quick? And that's kind of how it is. So
yeah. No, my dogs alert me when a truck drives up or somebody drops something at the door or random noises just happen outside, Sterling makes sure that I'm aware.
Understandable. We have cats, and so they're not very much caring about letting me know about anything. It's more they will sit on my chest while I'm trying to sleep and breathe and basically say, it is time for you to feed me. So that's kind of how it is. I mean,
all right.
Yeah, it's what it is. But
Yeah.
no, it's great to have everybody in here, and of course, Hornist is in here. Hornist, yeah, you are sus. We'll leave it at that. So, but yeah, and Sterling, Lana, maybe, yep. But so tonight we're just going to kind of relax, kind of talk. If you have questions at all that you want to ask Crystal in the chat, please feel free to do so. But Crystal, tell us a little bit about your journey into board gaming, like what games you enjoyed when you were growing up as a kid, and then just kind of how you kind of blossomed into this amazing force for good. Because from what I've seen, you've done stuff with Dice Tower. You're doing Board Game Blitz. You're with Ambi. But my interactions mainly of you have been us just having fun in Discord and killing each other, and then of course Conrad and I doing the double kill on you and just kind of making you question what the crap just happened.
Yep, the double kills in Among Us are always like, I can't ever be mad at them because they're always so beautiful, regardless of what side of it I'm on.
Oh, it's great, especially when you time down and you're just kind of like following each other and you're timing down at the same time. You're like, oh, hey, there's just one person here. Kill.
Yep.
So, oh yeah.
Well, as for me and gaming, I would say that like my childhood was fairly like standard average, like definitely played board games growing up. My sister and I did have a few slightly less common board games and we had gotten some board games passed down to us from our parents. So like we actually at my grandma's house had a copy of 10-4 Good Buddy, which was a CB trucking board game. The folks over at Flip the Table actually covered it in one of their episodes here a few years ago. And I was like, when I heard them mention it, I was like, wait, I've played that. Like you have to speak in trucker lingo and it's very silly and it's just a roll and move game basically. But so stuff like that. But you know, we played all of the classics, Mastermind and Stratego and the Ren and Stimpy cereal box game, which okay, that's not a classic, but that definitely existed. Yeah, and my favorite growing up was a game called the Omega Virus, which I got for my birthday, I think in around 1992. I still own the original copy that I received in the early 90s. It still works. I still love it. I've taught it to a whole bunch of people over the years, and I am desperately waiting for the day that Restoration Games announces that they've figured out a way to bring it back, because I know it's near the top of their list now that Dark Tower is already happening.
I kind of want to see them bring in this CB trucker game. It just sounds interesting already. But I mean, they've been able to make roll and moves a lot better and not so roll and move like. I mean, you've got Fireball Island was very much a roll and move game, and then it switched over to being like playing cards and actually having choices to go with, which I liked that. I liked that a lot.
I mean, the McDonald's game is a roll and move game, and everybody sees this board game that's based on McDonald's that came out in the 1970s, and they go, no, I don't want to play that. And then I say, yes, you do. Okay, here's what the McDonald's game involves. There is a very simple roll and move element, which is boring. I give it that. But then there is real-time play, dexterity, and memory elements all in the mechanics of this game. Like, it's so much fun to play. And every time I teach it, like Ambi really enjoyed it when I taught her at a con a while back. That's really great. I didn't get to play that one growing up, but I've become a fond of it ever since Flip the Table covered it a few years ago. And then, yeah, I got into hobby gaming in 2007. I was still living in the Kansas City area at that point, and I worked as a cashier in the poker room at Ameristar Casino, and then as a blackjack dealer for a little while. This was right after I graduated from college, and the economy was booming at this point, right before the big crash in 2008. So there were very few jobs around because everybody was employed and happy. And for people graduating out of college, there was nothing. So yeah, I worked at the casino for a while, and I met some friends who did a weekly game night. We were all on overnight shifts. And so once a week when we all had the same day off, we would go over to my buddy Ben's house and play board games. We would usually get over there around like 8 or 9 at night and play until 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we would all go to Waffle House and have breakfast and then go home and go to sleep. And I mean, the games that they introduced me to back in 2007 were things like Power Grid, Puerto Rico, Race for the Galaxy, Runebound, Ninja Burger, like of quite a few games that are considered modern classics, and then also like a few random games. Oh, Betrayal at House on the Hill was a favorite of ours back then. Of course, we had the like original edition of the game where all of the tokens were individual things. Like, so instead of having a generic monster token for like a whole bunch of different things, there was one spider token and 3 skeleton tokens, and you had to find the exact tokens you needed for different scenarios, and it was maddening, but still lots of fun. Then I moved out to Vegas, started building my own board game collection over time, and in 2015 met Ambi and Cassidy through Reddit, of all places. We had never spoken before. There was a thread that got posted on Reddit, on the board game subreddit. Somebody asked the question, what's missing in board game podcasts? And there were 2 themes that kept coming up over and over and over again. And that was, there aren't enough women podcasters, and there aren't enough short length podcasts. And so just randomly, Ambi, Cassidy, and I all commented in that thread, and we're like, I think I could do that. And so then we all started talking. We'd never spoken before. And we were like, wait, could we do that? And 3 strangers from across the United States who'd never met before talked for a few months. Cassidy had a baby, and then we launched a podcast. So that was the spring of 2016. We're coming up on our 5-year anniversary, actually, here in just a couple of months, which I'm really excited about. And we were the first board game podcast to be hosted entirely by women, which I think is really a big deal, and it's important. And there are now so many more content channels, not just podcasts, but all over, that are entirely hosted or run by women. And we are not the cause of that, but like, I'm so ecstatic that the thing that people wanted more of, there is more of it now. And I just love supporting all of the other podcasts that have come up since then, and Twitch streamers and YouTubers and TikTokers and everything else. Like, give me all of the platforms and all of the wonderful people making content on them.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I mean, you even look at our Twitch board game community, it's a very inclusive community where there's just different cultures, races, genders, belief systems, all that, and they're just all kind of like, hey, we're all in the same space. Let's go have some fun. Let's play some games. And it feels really cool. But I love the fact that it was Reddit is where it all started. That's really neat.
Yeah, I have a lot of mixed emotions about the board game subreddit, because when I used to frequent it, it was not a much different place, but a different place. I was actually a moderator on the subreddit for a while as well. Ambi was too. This was all after we met and all of that stuff happened. But I am generally not a fan of the subreddit anymore. I think that a lot of really good stuff has come from it, though, and a lot of people have made good friends there. I would have never met Ambi and Cassidy otherwise, or probably wouldn't have. So I'm grateful for that, if nothing else.
So what led to you doing things with the Dice Tower too? Because I know that you've done Dice Tower. Is it Dice Tower Tonight? Is that correct with Eric?
Yep.
So what led to that path?
Well, after we started the podcast, we, a while after we'd started it, we reached out to Tom to see if we could become part of the Dice Tower Network, which is just the larger, like, here's a bunch of board game podcasts that are kind of under this umbrella. It's more of an honorific than anything else, but it's just, hey, if you want to look up board game podcasts, you can go to the Dice Tower Network and see a bunch of different things. And after we had done that, Tom was just more aware of the fact that we existed. And so he was kind of interested in potentially bringing us on to do more content in general. And as far as Dice Tower Tonight is concerned, it actually originally started as a show with Tom and Eric. It was a live show that they were doing, and it had a slightly different structure. And there was one night where Eric's power went out unexpectedly, and Tom hopped into the Dice Tower team Slack channel and was like, I need a co-host who's available. I had literally just walked in the door from work for the day, and I was like, I could do it. And so I hopped on to the live stream with no notice with Tom, and we had a blast. And then I think they just invited me back. I don't remember, but basically Tom liked the dynamic, and Eric and I get along like gangbusters. Everybody says we're like brother and sister, and that's very, very true. He and I are just we get along so well. So they added me, and it was a 3-person show for a while. And then Tom eventually was like, you know what? You all are good. Just do this without me. And yeah, we've been running ever since. I don't know how many episodes we've done. I think we just did episode like 87 or something like that. And it's every 2 weeks. So somebody can extrapolate out what that means as far as how long we've been doing it.
Well, I mean, it's nice to see that progress. You said 2016, and then going in through it, and you're encouraging others basically by your actions of doing your own podcast. You've encouraged others to get involved. I know Girls Game Shelf later came into play, if I'm correct. Girls Game Shelf
actually started before Board Game Blitz, I think, or it was right around the same time. And they were doing YouTube content. But yeah, I believe Girls Game Shelf was before us, I think by a little while. Yeah, me being on Dice Tower tonight was a very fortunate event. It just was, it was meant to be, kind of, I think, because it's turned into one of my favorite things. Yes, Ambi says, I think Tom had been thinking about adding someone else, and my tryout impressed him. So yeah, I live content is my favorite kind of content to make. Of everything that I do, this is what I prefer more than anything else. And I know that that's somewhat unique. A lot of people do not enjoy live content. They don't like being able to not edit themselves, either in video or audio formats. I like speaking off the cuff. It tends to work well for me. I like having conversations with people, and I like the live interaction with the chat. So this is my favorite thing to do. And also it's less work after the fact. Like, there's a lot of prep beforehand usually.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't have to edit stuff, and God bless Ambi, she edits the podcast. So yeah, and I always keep talking about how I'd like to do more video content on the Dice Tower, but having the time to shoot and edit videos on top of my 40-hour-a-week day job and all of the other things I'm doing, I tend to not be able to find the extra time to do that stuff.
No, I agree that live, there's something about live, and I think you hit it on the head, or hit it the nail on the head. I don't know the phrase, but I feel like you hit it just right where you're saying that interaction with the people watching. I think that's big. Because when you're recording something and then you're posting later, that you don't know how people are reacting unless you're going to watch it as a premiere. And at the same time, it's like you're having to watch yourself, and it's kind of like, I don't want to watch myself, you know?
Yeah.
It is nice to be able to just kind of have this fun. Like, everybody that's in here right now is you've got Ambi's in here, Board at Home, James Brazil, you've got Panda Angel. You've just got all these beautiful people in here, and it's like, this is a time where we can just relax and enjoy it. And then when we're done, we can just say, upload to YouTube. There, done, happy. Yeah. I'm throw in a thumbnail. That's all you really got to do. You don't have to make it anything more than that. Whereas, like, when you're doing like a video review and stuff or things, it's like, okay, I got to script this right. Okay, I'm probably don't. Oh, whoops. Okay, I got to fix that in Cleon later. And okay, did I get the rules right? Oh crap! Now I got to go send it out to the publisher, make sure that it's that it looks good. Okay, all right. They've got some edits. Crap! Now I got to go do that. Oh no, Abigail's got to go to choir practice. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Deadlines, and then you've got, like you said, we both work full-time jobs that aren't. I mean. I'm guessing you're doing. Are you still doing stuff with casinos and stuff, or
no? I actually got out of the casino industry back in. Well, so when I moved to Vegas, I started working more along the lines of what I was trying to do from college on, and that was to work in marketing as a copywriter.
Nice.
And that's the writing kind, not the legal kind. Sometimes you say copywriter, and people think copyright, but no, a copywriter. And I actually worked for Caesars Entertainment, the corporate company that owns a whole bunch of casinos, for a few years, until 2015. And then that's when I moved to my current company, which is actually in the financial industry. I'm still doing similar stuff, marketing, content creation, content strategy. I actually just recently got a promotion, so that's fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, the company I work for isn't perfect, but I'm really good at my job, and that feels good. Like, I tend to be one of those people that a lot of other people come to when they have a question or they need something, because they know that I'm going to be able to help them.
That's really awesome. It's a good feeling too, to know that you have value in a company, because so many jobs nowadays, people are like, that furlough, all the furloughs that happened last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, to have stability is a beautiful thing. Even working in a nonprofit based hospital, they had to say, hey, can you take some volunteer reduced hours? And I'm like, what the crap? We're the place that's constantly open right now.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm incredibly grateful that I've continued to be employed throughout the pandemic. And I feel really bad for the people that have been struggling in that regard. I had a lot of changes in my personal life last year as well. Getting divorced and having to buy a house were on my plate as well. And if I had lost my employment at any point before any of that, then I would be in a potentially much rougher spot right now. So I'm incredibly grateful and lucky and appreciative of the things that I've achieved and been provided in my life.
Well, you definitely have worked hard for it. I mean, and of course, the people that are in here, like I said before, they love you in here. They love you. And so, I mean, I truly, you're board game family to me. So therefore, there is love for you as well for me. So
I appreciate that.
That's not
the board game community is wonderful, and it is getting better by the day. And like, sometimes that's hard to see, because a lot of the stuff that kind of bubbles to the top is the drama and the bad stuff and the stuff that people like to criticize and anything wrong. But the way I'm kind of trying to approach that stuff, at least right now, from, again, this is just my point of view, I'm not saying that anybody else has to approach it this way, is all of this bad stuff has always existed. Always. Like, pre-internet even, but like, especially in the age of the internet, the bad stuff has existed. And for a long time, it just kind of existed and nobody said anything about it. And it just kept existing. And now people are speaking out about the bad stuff, and it's getting better real slowly, not quick enough for most people, including myself, but like, we've made a lot of progress. And so I kind of try and focus on that part of it and like be like, yeah, this sucks right now in these like tiny moments and bubbles, but good things will come as a result of this. And so, like, if I have to take a little bit of hate to make sure that somebody else does it later, then yes, please. Like, let's just make that happen now. And let's make the board game community not just a space where everyone has a seat at the table, but where everyone who is at the table is comfortable there.
That is very true. Important. Well, and I think you're right on this. We now have technology where we can record things in real time and upload it in real time. When we look at the racial injustices that have happened over the past year, it was still happening. It just wasn't able to be recorded in real time and reported in real time. Now we have ways of actually being able to address these things and show these things to people. And so, like, when somebody is like doing something that's not right, we can report it. We can say, hey, this is not cool. This is not how we treat people. And sadly, this is stuff that's been going on for quite some time, like you said.
Yeah.
But there's social media and technology can be a double-edged sword, but it can be used for so much good in addressing a lot of the stuff that we see on a day-to-day life. When we see something that's being injustice, we can post about it, we can share it, we can signal boost it in the sense of like, hey, this is wrong, don't agree with this, and we can encourage people to actually stand up against it.
And it's not even, I mean, obviously the really big injustices, as you mentioned, are important, but I think it's also important as an online community to help each other just be more thoughtful as well. Because I think in almost all of the instances, the original intentions of most of these people were not malicious. Generally, there are not a lot of people out there who are actively trying to cause harm. There are some, but for the most part, people are usually uninformed, misguided, or just somewhat ignorant about specific issues. And all of us, even, like those of us who I think would consider ourselves generally on the right side of things, we make mistakes. And it's not always just about the mistakes that you make. It's how you react after the fact and how you grow and change going forward. And that's been a big thing for me. Like, on January 6th, when the attacks at the Capitol happened, Eric and I had an episode of Dice Tower Tonight scheduled that evening. And he and I talked all day on and off about whether we should do the show or not, because we weren't sure. He and I were both very shaken, and we didn't know if it would be taken well if we did an episode, but we both eventually came to a point where we were like, we think it would be good for us and for our viewers to have a place to come and to decompress. So we were like, okay, we're going to go ahead with it. And then one of my lovely friends tweeted at me and was like, maybe not, I don't remember what she said exactly, but she was very kind. And she said, it might look bad. It kind of looks like you're self-promoting and whatever else. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. And I think no harm will come of us not doing the stream tonight. And so then we canceled. And to me, that's a very simple example of some of these larger issues. Like that one wasn't, canceling a stream is not big in the grand scheme of things. But
at the same time, you're being respectful of the situation. And the one thing that I've learned a lot about the community is that they're very understanding if you have to cancel a stream, or if you choose to cancel a stream, to be respectful to the issues at hand.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
That's the one thing that so many people miss, I think, is everybody kind of tends to jump to defensiveness when somebody points something out, and just take a step back and just think and be like, could I have done a better job? Probably. Can I do a better job going forward? Definitely. And just do it, and just be grateful that the community is willing to gently hold a mirror up to you occasionally and let you see the parts of yourself that maybe aren't, as good as you want them to be yet. And I'm grateful for the people that have done that for me over the years, because I am certainly not perfect.
I mean, you look at this hairline, you can tell I'm nowhere near perfect right now. So
Your hairline has nothing to do with your perfection, Chris.
Well, gosh, then we're really in trouble. No. No, it's one of those things where you're right. We constantly are learning. I mean, the ways that we were raised as kids, the way that we were taught how people are, and different things, and the way that we react to people, and then watching even how television at times would act in certain ways about people who were different, or just different shows or movies and things like that. Like, a lot has changed, and just as that has changed, we have changed, and we've been able to understand more and be able to absorb more. And I think one of the best things, like you said, a lot of the issues that happen are because of ignorance.
And so we just have to be willing to learn. And I mean, it's hard. It's hard to be told that the thing you've believed or thought to be true your whole life isn't. That's not fun for anybody. But I think that the community has grown and changed in really good ways over the past even just 5 to 10 years. And I think it's only going to get better from here on out because of the people who are willing to speak up. And, it's not about spreading hate. It's about improving the community for everybody, that so that people aren't uncomfortable to exist in the spaces we exist in.
Yeah. I agree. Which kind of leads to the charity we want to talk about tonight. Because this is one that I've been waiting for somebody to want to talk about it personally from experiences, or just even from their interest in it, because it's one that I actually have really found to be good. There's been organizations like the B. Arthur Foundation, which was started by B. Arthur, which has helped out with people who came out to their family members, were put out on the streets, and she gave them housing and things of that nature. Then there's an organization like this, the Trevor Project, which has gone even beyond that. And I am very happy for organizations like this, because no youth should have to suffer because of being themselves. I'm going to say that one more time. This is special. If you're a parent, no child should suffer for being who they are. So we're going to talk about the Trevor Project. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I'm going to kind of scroll through the page. Okay. Crystal, you just walk right through. We'll do it. And real quick, for those of you who are watching, it's going right there in the chat. There is the link to the Trevor Project. If you want to be able to look at it as well, you want to get some education, or you want to be a sword or a shield or a wallet in some way, shape, or form, click on that link, make it a point. So I'm going to go to this, and Crystal, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the wheel.
So the Trevor Project is an organization that I have never utilized myself, but that I believe in their mission very strongly. I am a member of the LGBTQ plus community. I identify as bisexual. And I grew up with a fairly religious family. And it wasn't that they necessarily didn't let me be who I wanted or who I truly was. It was, I didn't even know that my true identity was an option. Like, I don't remember when I learned that bisexuality even existed, but I did not know it existed when I was a kid. Like, I knew that gay people existed. And so you either liked, for me as a woman, I would either like men, or I would, like women. And that was, this weird kind of almost taboo thing that just never got talked about. The Trevor Project is an organization that helps with crisis intervention and suicide prevention, specifically for people under the age of 25. And I do not have the data, but suicide rates for LGBTQ youth are much higher than they should be. And so the Trevor Project provides lifelines for kids that are in crisis, who need that support network, who need somebody to talk to, who need someone to accept them for who they are. I know that they get really high ratings from the websites that do, the rate charities or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is a charity that the money goes where it's supposed to go, and they do really good work with it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful charity.
Yeah. And I don't remember when it was founded. I feel like it's been around for more than
see.
I feel like it's been around for at least a couple decades, but I don't remember exactly when it got founded.
Yeah, 1998. 1998 is when it started.
Okay, yeah. And they're actually, it's interesting. There was a Gallup poll that came out yesterday that was talking about people who identify as LGBT amidst the different generations. And it was saying that the LGBT community has risen again in the United States, and that specifically in Gen Z, there are statistically a lot more LGBTQ people. And it was interesting because I saw some comments on online, not from people within my circle necessarily, but just the general discourse of people saying, well, this is like the people who don't believe that LGBTQ people are valid and exist say, yeah, they're brainwashing our youth to make them gay. And while I laugh at that because it's just such a funny idea, it's very damaging, and it can be very, very hurtful to especially young, impressionable people. And there's a reason why there are more LGBTQ people in Gen Z than in older generations. And that is because organizations like the Trevor Project didn't used to exist. There was the AIDS crisis. There was Stonewall. There were a whole bunch of things that happened that mean the older generations lost a lot of good people who were in the LGBTQ community far too young. And we need to help Gen Z now. We don't want what happened to the older generations to happen to Gen Z. And the Trevor Project is making sure that LGBTQ youth get the love and support they need so they can turn into the fabulous adults that they were destined to be.
Yeah, and it's cool because you have a way of actually clicking volunteer and being able to be on the calls and be able to encourage people as they're going through it. Like I've had friends who were kicked out because they were gay, and it was heartbreaking because they don't have relationships with their families. And it's upsetting. It's upsetting to even think about that. And I look at from the church as like, that's from a biblical mindset. That's not how Christ would have been.
Right.
I'm going to say that straightforward, and that might be a little political or too religious for somebody. But if you have those beliefs, people, I'm pretty sure that Christ wouldn't be like, oh yeah, no, go away. No, that's not how he was. He hung out with the tax collectors. He hung out with people that weren't in the church. He didn't hang out with the church people. He hung out with the people in the moments and in the day-to-day. And he spent time. And I think that's the one thing. It's like you see that and you're like, why aren't we as people doing that? If the church can be that, why isn't it? And I think that's my challenge to the church right off the bat. I'm just going to say that because the church can be better, and it should be better, and it should be more loving and accepting. It shouldn't be saying you're different, so you're out on the street. That's not love.
Right. And that why two consenting adults who love each other, why that would bother anybody else it does not make sense to me. It really and truly doesn't, because the people who tend to argue that it is wrong are often quoting very specific Bible verses that have been translated and retranslated over the years, and potentially meant entirely different things, or even just somewhat related things. But then those same people don't follow the very specific letter of the law in the Bible in a whole bunch of other regards. And so it's kind of just like, it bothers me that like you want to find this one specific passage, and yet it's saying that you shouldn't get tattoos or eat, what specific types of meat or all these other things. And I'm like, but why this one thing?
Yeah, no. Hold on. We got to stop for a second because I just saw one of my all-time favorite people in the entire world.
It's T!
T's here. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh no, we're not going to stop. But I'm sorry. I love T. They are one of my all-time favorite people in the board game community. So I'm sorry, T. I have to shout it to the heavens. If I ever see you or interact with you, I have to, because I love you. I truly do love you.
T is one of the most delightful humans that I have had the privilege to get to know through board gaming. This is why you lurk. Well, too bad. You know what? Guess what? Now I'm going to say nice things about you in every stream, regardless of whether you're in the chat. And that way I can just guarantee it.
Yeah. But no, so yeah, like organizations like this, it's great because here's a chance where, just even 2020 in itself, that feeling of loneliness and everything. And then if you were to make that decision to come out to your parent, and you have to deal with that rejection or anything of that nature, That's got to be very hard. And I mean, the fact that they deal specifically with suicide prevention to let people know that they are still loved, that they are still valued, that they're still cared for. I mean, that's the whole message. That is the message of the Trevor Project. It's a beautiful thing. There's a person that was on Studio C, Stacy, I forget his last name, but he's a big proponent of the Trevor Project. Came from the Mormon faith, and just it's a beautiful organization. It's just so well done. It's so well done because they truly are making a difference in people's lives.
They absolutely are. Yeah. And I think that there aren't as many LGBT focused charities that are this large in scope. Although there are a lot of really good like local organizations. So for people who are in the chat, like definitely do some Googling and see if there's an LGBTQ youth center or something like that in your area. Because obviously if you do want to donate to a charity, like you can donate to one of these big nationwide ones and that's great. But sometimes, you can make a bigger difference by helping out a smaller organization that's in your area. And then that you're supporting people who live near you, which I think is kind of always, it feels real nice.
Yeah. And leader games, I know Chris, not Chris, is it Chris? No, Chris Leaders with Calliope. Paul?
I do the same thing. I've done that same thing.
I keep getting Patrick. Okay. So Patrick and the team at Leader Games, they actually are involved with a local LGBTQ plus advocacy community, which is just awesome. And it started out, I think, helping with meals for people during the AIDS crisis, and just being able to make meals and stuff like that to help people that were dealing with that. And now it's become something just even more, which is just really nice. I mean, it's what it should be. It's what we should be as people. Yes, we can have faiths. Yes, we can have beliefs. But at the end of the day, if somebody were to take what we were talking about with Bible sense, take Christ specifically at this phrase: love God, love people. That's how he was. And and people don't have to, if faith-wise, they don't have to. But I believe wholeheartedly in the part, love people, because if you can do that, there's a whole lot less hate that way. Whole lot less hate. There's going to come times where we have to deal with so much stress and struggles and all these other things that are going on. But if we can love people, we can make a difference. Trevor Project is trying to remind these people that have not felt love, that they are loved, that they aren't alone, that they do have worth, that they are valued.
Yeah, not just that they are loved, but that they deserve love. Because I think that's a big thing, especially, a lot of youth growing up are kind of told that they don't deserve the kind of love that they were meant to have.
They were loved. They're meant to be loved, and they're meant to love.
And I think for me specifically, I didn't come out as bisexual until I was in my 20s. And that was more because I didn't actually realize that I was bisexual until I was in my 20s. So I didn't have the same experiences growing up. Although it's one of those things where in retrospect, certain things begin to make a lot more sense when I look back at my teenage years. But for me, it's a weird balance because I want to be not a representative of the community, but just I want to be visible in the board game community as a member of the LGBTQ community. I obviously am not a representative of the community. I don't speak for the community in that regard. But when I was married to my husband, before I got divorced, it was a weird balance for me because bisexuality is still valid regardless of whether you are in a straight presenting relationship. And so then I kind of felt like I almost needed to talk about it more, which was awkward for me because I didn't want to just like go out around shouting like, oh, by the way, did you know I'm bisexual? Like, it's just weird and awkward. But I've become more comfortable speaking about that part of my life over time because I think it is an important part of who I am. And I do want other LGBTQ people, especially younger LGBTQ people, to see media people, I mean, even in our small little board game hobby, who are like them, and to, you know, give them some kind of hope that like, yeah, like the thing that the Trevor Project says, like, it gets better. It does. It really, truly does. And like, you always just have to look for the helpers, and they'll be there. And the Trevor Project is one of those helpers.
Yeah, and I think I like how this area right here where it says get involved. 3 hours, just one shift, a 3-hour shift a week, whether it be texting or chatting. That's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really not that hard to get involved. And they do really, really good and important work.
Yeah. So I encourage anybody that's been in those situations, that has dealt with that, or has dealt with suicidal tendencies or thoughts, or has struggled with coming out and dealing with the rejections and things like that. You've made it through. I highly recommend for any of you that are interested in getting involved in this way to do that. For anybody else as well, there is this beautiful button up here. It says donate. I always say this: you can be a sword to fight for people, you can be a shield to protect them, and you can be a wallet to make a difference. So you can actually go on here, you can donate monthly, you can donate once, you can donate a random amount. So it's very much possible to do all these things.
Absolutely.
And once again, I'm gonna post that link one more time in the chat. Yeah, and it's true. Love doesn't get tired. Don't get me wrong. We get tired because sometimes we pour from an empty cup because of all the hate that's constantly going around. But the love's still there. The love is still there. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, if you are going to donate to a charity, and you work for, well, it doesn't matter who you work for a company, ask your HR people if they do any donation matching. That's something that a lot of people don't know about. And some companies, especially larger ones, will match donations to certain organizations. And so you can potentially double the impact of any funds you donate to any organization. So just look into that if that's not something that you're aware of.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that there are ways of doing that. I did not even think about that myself. I've just been kind of doing a little bit of everything, but I do like the idea of being able to do that through my work, if possible, because I mean it makes a lot of sense. I mean, seriously, and you know what I find interesting too is like there are charities that sometimes at the grocery store, like, hey, do you want to take the remainder of your change and put it towards charity? And it's like, why not? I mean,
so I actually, until very, very recently, I had the exact same opinion as you. I, honest to God, if you told me it was if you said it was Children's Miracle Network, I was like, yes, definitely round up, do the dollar, whatever. Yeah. And then someone pointed out something very, very good to me. And that was, you should just donate to that charity, whether it's $1 or not, because those businesses, and I guess I'm not speaking about a mom and pop store, I'm talking about like very large corporations that potentially don't do great things in other regards. They get a tax write-off when they make that donation. So like, you can make your money have more impact and not help a large big box corporation by just donating the money directly. So like I used to, if they mentioned the words Children's Miracle Network, especially, I would always say yes. And now I take those moments and I go, well, admittedly, I haven't been in a store in, I don't know how long now. All of my stuff is delivered via Instacart, but like, if I get that moment now, it's more of a reminder for myself, like, hey, have I donated to one of the organizations that I like to support recently? You know, things I tend to donate to: Planned Parenthood, Children's Miracle Network, the Trevor Project, Best Friends is a big one for me as well. And yeah, like those little moments to me are now reminders to do it on my own. And no judgment if people still like to donate at the store. It's quick and it's easy and it's still helpful. But just food for thought that I had never considered before and somebody else brought up to me recently.
No, I like that. I mean, it's very true. It's very true because then you're just automatically donating straight to it. I know me, I'm a diehard Extra Lifer. And doing that is just, I mean, it's brutal. 24 hours.
Oh my gosh, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Keep talking. Okay. I'm going to grab something.
All right. But yeah, 24 hours straight gaming can just make you tired as crap. Like I just did I did 24 hours in 2 days for Ronald McDonald House, and that kicked my butt. But it was
just
worth
came in
it.
the mail.
Oh, you got your medal.
My
Nice.
gold medal just came like literally like last week.
See, I only opted to do. I did the medal 1 year, but like other years, I just couldn't. Like seriously, it was. I just donated straight to it instead, and I just didn't do it. Oh, thanks.
It's so beautiful. Like
it is beautiful. Like it's so nice. For those of you who don't know what this medal is, if you actually sign up and do the platinum sign up for Extra Life, you get kind of like a sweet little T-shirt, and then once you hit $1,000 goal, you immediately will get a medal the following year. Just kind of a way to kind of rep yourself and say, hey. It's really cool because it does make a nice talking point when you're talking to people. Like I would go to conventions and I would show games, and at the same time I'd be like, hey, do y'all want to hear a little bit about how you can make a difference in a kid's life? And so I would actually we'd have these giant size squishy dice, and we'd let the kids roll, and whatever they rolled, they'd get to take like a little prize or something like that.
that's awesome.
And then other people did like a NPC quest. So I was teaching sword crafters, and I was the blacksmith. So everybody had to bring to me this card that had a bunch of broken pieces to it, and I would just like hammer away at it and then give them a different card which had the fixed sword. So yeah.
Yeah. Extra Life has been something that I've done. I haven't done it every single year, but I've done it a few years over the past like 5 or 6 years. And 1 year, we actually did it at a local board game cafe here in Vegas. Usually I do it at my house and bring all my friends to my house. This year, obviously, we did everything remotely. But yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, we did it at a board game cafe, and I had set a goal on Twitter. I had said if somebody donated a specific amount, or if I hit a specific donation goal, that I would play board games in my inflatable T-Rex costume. And I should actually find it. It's still on Twitter. I played Happy Salmon wearing an inflatable T-Rex costume. And I fully cheated at the game without realizing it, because manipulating the cards with my tiny dino arms was really hard, and I was trying to get people to Happy Salmon me. I will find the video and I will retweet it and tag you, Chris, so you can see it tonight.
I want to see it. I do.
Yeah, no, it's delightful to watch.
Just real quick, I see your comment, legit Super TJ. Justin, can you whisper? It's so weird saying that. Can you whisper to legit Super TJ? Go ahead and whisper him the Discord, and then legit Super TJ, or just look me up on Discord. I'll be glad to sit down. I'm Saturday to talk about what you're wanting to do. And thanks, Justin. It's so weird. It's so weird seeing the whispering thing. It's like whisper. It's like, oh yeah, you want a giveaway? Please whisper to me. Yeah.
It's an interesting term for a direct message or a private message. It's the whisper part of it.
Yeah, it's like I don't like. It just sounds to me. I'm like, hey, like I whispered to you the other time when I was like, hey, thanks for playing. Or I don't even remember what I said. Oh, we did the Twitch sings, and and so I was like, I whispered to you later. I was like, thanks for letting me hang out and sing with you all. And I'm like, as I'm typing it, I'm thinking in whisper tones. So I'm like, it's odd.
And I'm bad about checking my whispers on Twitch because I don't think about it as a messaging platform. So I don't even when the notifications exist, I don't see them.
Whoa. Okay. Hold on. Streaming for Children's Tumor Foundation. Okay. Get in touch with me. I definitely want to talk more than just telling you about a 24-hour stream. I would love to help you all in May. Let me know. We will get something set up right there. Okay. Because that's freaking amazing.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's really cool. Sweet. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Sorry, I get excited about. I don't know why. I get excited about doing these live streams, even though it's grueling sometimes, and it can just wear you out, like doing 24 hours straight gaming and stuff like that. It's worth it.
I cannot do 24 hours
Oh,
anymore. I can't. Like I literally the best I can get, I think, is around 18. And at that point, I am a very cranky board game player. Like, no, but you all think I'm happy and delightful. Ask my local Vegas friends who have been with me at hour 18 or 19 of a 24-hour marathon when we all just went, yeah, I think we're done. Because, like, I can't focus and I'm so mad at, like, nothing.
well, what's crazy is like the 24-hour one that we did for Extra Life recently. The last 4 hours or so, I had my legs waxed live by my kids. To basically, it was partly to keep me awake because I had been doing nothing but Tabletop Simulator, Tabletopia, and like the occasional like games and stuff like that. And then right after that, I did the one chip challenge playing Dinosaur World. That was hell. And it was just one of those things where it's like, okay, I've got to do something to keep myself awake and keep the people watching entertained. And so that was kind of something that I did when we hit goals. I mean, I don't remember how much we did. We did over 3,000, I think, that last year. And which was great. It was a lot of fun. It was painful, but it was worth it. That's the thing. It was painful, but it was worth it.
Yeah. And honestly, the only reason I stop at whatever point I stop at is because I become not enjoyable to watch anymore. So like that's if I was partnering with other people, like when Ambi and I did our big Extra Life event back in August, we streamed over 2 days and had a whole bunch of different streams. And that was sometimes I only had an hour break between streams, but just not talking or smiling for an hour was a nice break for my face. I am a very smiley person, like it's natural, but at a certain point my face is like, we can't do this anymore.
Hornus is saying I would take a one chip over a leg wax easily. I mean, I still don't have hair growing in certain areas on my leg. So yeah, and that's been since
I've
November.
never done the one chip challenge. I'm pretty funny when I eat like gross or spicy stuff. Ambi and I did the world's hottest chocolate though. The like chocolate bar. That's although we literally ate the tiniest, like the squares are already so small and we just nibbled off of like a corner of one square. And we did this. We recorded it at a convention, I think at BGG Con a few years ago, and then we put it up on our YouTube channel. So you can still watch it. I had to eat, did I eat a cricket? I think I freaked out about that. We ate a bunch of gross stuff. And we also did the Bean Boozled challenge at one point. Those were with Patreon goals.
Those are fun. Yeah, those are fun.
The Bean Boozled one was hilarious because we kept trying the same one over and over to if one of us hadn't gotten the gross one. And I kept getting the gross ones and we kept getting the not gross ones. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to do these things to encourage people. But yeah, I understand about for me, it's usually 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. on a 24-hour one where I am feeling it. And I'm just kind of like, okay. Please just get me through. But Justin, luckily I had Justin with me when we did last week. And so the game was going long and we're playing Valor and Villainy, which is such a great game. It's a lot of fun, but I knew we were at this one point. And so I messaged Matt Felici. I'm like, kill us now.
Nice. Yeah. I'm excited about being able to do in-person streaming events again. Especially like I prior to the pandemic, I had talked with the Murph brothers about driving out to LA because it's only 4 hours from Vegas to do stuff with them. And like, there's so many other people that are part of the Tabletop Live Network that are also kind of based in the LA area. And so like in my head, I'm already planning this epic like 24-hour streaming marathon with them, but like live once the pandemic is over. I haven't told any of them this. It's just in my head, but like I'm basically going to come crash on all of their couches. So if they're watching right now, just know that that is going to happen at some point.
I think they already start. Well, no, are they? I think they already started playing. I think they're doing Title Blades tonight. So
yeah, they're streaming. The Murphs are streaming right now.
Yeah, so I will probably, after we get done here, we'll go and we'll raid them and say hello. It's weird doing it with StreamYard because I'm looking at StreamYard and it still continues, but like I'm still getting used to doing the rating thing. It's a constant educational thing for me to learn. Yeah, but it's just it's seriously, I know you're about to stream in about 30 minutes. And like,
yeah, Andy and I are playing Dungeon Pets tonight. It's my first time. I'm so excited.
Like, and I could honestly, I know that we could just talk for a bit. I think probably the rest of the night.
Oh yeah, easily.
I'm enjoying this. I am enjoying this too much. But yeah, it has been a joy just having you on, and it's also it's a joy to develop this friendship that's developing. I am thankful for it. I'm thankful for you, and I love you as a person, and I love you as my sister in this board game family that we have here. So,
and I'm grateful for you and all the work you're doing, not just to highlight people within the board game industry, but to bring the charity aspect into it. A lot of us, do things like Extra Life and other stuff like that. But I think your specific focus really helps remind people that these communities that we've built around board games can be used for other good things as well. And that's really important.
I mean, the whole purpose, I mean, you and I have both done Extra Life, and at some point we found out that we could play games and raise money for charity. And really what it came down to was, okay, I didn't know that I could do this. And I always wanted to do something that was helping. And then finding something to help made it so that way I could do this. That's really what it is. I mean, we both have enjoyed doing charity work because don't get me wrong, it's grueling. It can be very tiresome. And after the end of a long live stream, you're ready to take a nap for 2 days. I mean, I'm still feeling it, and it's Thursday. I'm still feeling it, but it's worth it. It is so worth it. And so my thought was, okay, I didn't know about this until somebody invited me into it. So I'm pretty sure that there's other people that are trying to find ways to make it possible to get involved with something. They want something to do. They want an outlet where they can help somebody or they can make a difference in somebody's life. And I thought to myself, well, why not make that the focus? And then the board game part of it be just a little bit extra,
Absolutely. And for me personally, the way I always kind of jokingly describe why I do charity stuff is if anybody's familiar with the sitcom Friends, which I know a lot of people are, there's an episode where Phoebe is trying to prove to Joey that there is such a thing as a selfless good deed. And I believe that, like Joey does, there is no such thing as a selfless good deed, because in addition to wanting to help other people, it does make me feel good to help others. And so I'm going to keep doing it. And it's just going to bring more great stuff to other people and myself. And I think that that's really important to do things that not only benefit others, but that benefit your own heart and soul as well. And donating to a charity can do that. And it's really simple. So give up Starbucks for a couple of days and donate $10 to a charity. Like it's not that hard to do. And people just don't think to a lot of the time.
Yeah, and we really have the ability to make a difference. And if, like what we've been talking about tonight, love is love, and love outweighs hate. And if we can keep showing love both in our actions and the way that we treat each other and respect each other and love each other, it'll be a lot better place. We'll have a better 2021 if we can have that momentum going.
For sure.
So I am beyond thankful for you. I'm
really thankful for you. Thank you.
I just want to keep talking the rest of the night already. But what we're going to do, we're going to let Crystal get a little bit of rest from having from right now and be able to get ready for her live stream. So please check that out. That's Dungeon Pets at 10:30 Eastern Standard. What I'll do is I'll quickly play us out. We're going to go ahead and we're going to raid the Brothers Murph real quick. I'm going to try this because I did it earlier. I think it worked.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm still learning every day. But folks, just so you remember, if we can gather at the table, we can also do the same for a good cause. So thank you so much for being on here. And yeah, let's like somebody just said, James just said, and James, you were just awesome because every time I see you in the chat, you are always welcoming everybody, and you truly are making them feel special. So I love that. I love that you do that. But folks, just have a great night. I just want to keep going.
Thanks, chat. You're awesome.
Love you all. We also want to thank our sponsor, Greenbrier Games. Be on the lookout for Lost Ones hitting the Pledge Manager soon. All right, and we are rating in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I think it worked.
Yep, the raid went off.
Sweet.